Welcome to MojoPlays. Today, we're looking at the toughest boss encounters in the Resident Evil series. Grab all the green herbs you can, you're going to need them.
I'm just getting started.
Before we begin, we publish new content all week long, so be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos.
Ivan Twins, Resident Evil, The Umbrella Chronicles.
Here are a few of my old friends I'd like to introduce you to.
Charmed.
Anyone who's played a Resident Evil game is no doubt familiar with the Tyrant bioweapon, whether it be Mr. X, Nemesis, or others. They're damn hard to kill. The only thing that can make them harder would be facing two of them, and that's exactly what you'll be doing with the Ivan Twins. They're of the T103 variety, the Mr. X model, just not as big. But don't think that means they're weak, as the baddies are damn near invincible and shoot rockets to boot. So how do you survive? Well, would it be too arrogant if we said, just don't get hit? That's basically the strategy here, as one rocket or melee attack will brutalize your health bar. Patience is key. When rockets are flying, be defensive and don't worry about attacking. And when the Ivans are attacking, unload the most powerful weapon you have to stop them in their tracks. The Comms Officer, aka Scag Dead, Resident Evil Revelations. This thing is tough for two reasons. One, it's very hard to look at. My god, this thing is ugly. Seriously, between squinting our eyes and turning our head in horror, we couldn't keep track of its movements and it had its way with us. And two, it's a bullet sponge taking, insta-kill making nightmare of a boss for such an early moment in the game.
I want life.
Seriously, what was Capcom thinking putting him so early? Anyways, here's what you absolutely shouldn't do. Unload all your ammo into his body thinking it's going to have any effect. You're going to have to get close and shoot the tiny head sprouting out of its back. But, of course there's a but, don't get too close, as his saw hand is the quickest way to the game over screen. Other enemies will keep spawning during this fight too, so be careful not to get cornered. Ramon Salazar, Resident Evil 4.
You just missed her. The ritual is over. She left with my men to an island.
He's like 3 feet tall and looks like baby Benjamin Button. How hard can he be, right? Wrong. Just wait until Salazar jumps into the octopus-like wallflower and starts swinging those giant friggin' tentacle arms at you. They don't exactly one-hit you, but they still devastate your health bar, and they require perfect timing through annoying button prompts to avoid.
That tickle.
So, unless you're a fan of QTEs, we'd suggest carrying lots of first aid spray because it's really only a matter of how many times you get hit, not if you get hit. As such, the real difficulty in this fight lies in the fact that you spend so much time trying to avoid these tentacles that you barely have time to line up the shots necessary to expose Salazar's weak point and do any lasting damage. If you plan on using a pistol for this fight, think again. Albert Wesker, Resident Evil 5.
I think the odds are fair. 2 on 2. Right, Gio.
Resident Evil games are famous for giving you limited ammo and forcing you to hit an impossibly small target during boss fights. See Scag Dead as an example. And while it can feel like fighting Wesker in Resident Evil 5 has more stages than an outdoor music festival, none of them are all that difficult. Until the final one, that is. Yup, you guessed it. Limited ammo and a tiny weak point to hit. What makes this fight worse is that it takes place in a lava pit in the middle of nowhere, so there's no chance of getting more ammo if you run out. And Wesker has mutated into a massive Tyrant-like monster with brutal ranged attacks, so your concentration and aim will be constantly disrupted by his frustrating assaults. You're going to shoot, you're going to miss, and Wesker's going to eat your lunch. Just accept that and try again. Jack Krauser, Resident Evil 4.
So, you two are all hooked up now, is that it?
Where's Ashley?
Do you really want to know?
How many times did you die in this battle before you realized that it's better to fight Krauser with a knife than it is with your guns? Well, if you're anything like us, it's a lot. We thought it was just common sense to go in guns blazing, but he's incredibly resistant to gunfire. Go figure. But fighting Jack face to face is no easy task either, as after he mutates and gets a massive tentacle arm, his melee attacks can only be dodged through QTEs. And oftentimes, after dodging an attack, by the time you get close enough to stab him with a knife, you'll have to mash the button prompt to dodge all over again, leading to a frustrating and exhausting cycle. Oh yeah, and you only have 3 minutes to kill him too. Have fun! Tyrant T078, Resident Evil, Code Veronica. While T078 is his formal name, most people just call him that damn tyrant on the plane that kicked my ass. He's an offshoot of the T103 model, aka Mr. X, and comes packing a devastating claw arm that'll show you the game over screen real quick. Figuring out how to win this battle, however, is more important than being stacked with powerful weapons and ammo, at least initially, as you can blast away on this baddie all you please, but he's basically invincible. So yes, you're going to die a lot while trying to figure out what to do. And even once you figure out that you have to launch the cargo stack at him, you'll still need a powerful weapon like a grenade launcher and a ton of rounds to stagger him to the point where you can trigger the event. Jack Norman, aka Ultimate Abyss, Resident Evil Revelations. Well, this thing certainly lives up to its name. The founding member of the terrorist organization Veltro, Jack Norman was left confined to an airtight pocket in a sunken ship left only with the T-Abyss virus, which mutated him into this walking tank. The Ultimate Abyss has a lot of health, and his only weak spots are his exposed heart covered in a shell, which is open for a few seconds, or the bulge on his upper back. What makes him a very tricky boss, however, is that he also has the ability to teleport around the room and make illusionary copies of himself. This makes it very easy to miss your window of attack and get a face full of claws. In the later phase of the fight, he'll also start charging you, so be extra careful and be ready to dodge at a moment's notice.
Done. Everything finished. Finally, I can die.
Nemesis, Resident Evil 3. The Nemesis T-Type is basically the top-of-the-line Tyrant model at Umbrella's disposal. So yeah, he's going to be tough. And if this hulking brute hasn't pissed you off enough by the time you reach the end of the game that you'd do anything, literally anything, to wipe him off the face of the earth, well, you're a more patient person than us. The combination of accumulated stress and repeated game over screens resulting from run-ins with this monster had us close to our breaking point in the original game. He's not called the Pursuer for nothing. While no fight is a pleasant one, the ones in the Clock Tower Courtyard and the Laboratory Disposal Chamber can both be particularly brutal. Hope you have enough heavy ammo by the time those fights come around. Jack Baker, Resident Evil 7. You're going to run into Jack a lot in this game, and at some points, the only option you'll have available to yourself is to simply run and hide. But when he corners you in the morgue in the basement, you'll be forced to fight back. The only problem is, seemingly no matter what you do, nothing phases him, leading to countless deaths, and perhaps some slight rage if you're anything like us. What the game doesn't tell you, however, is that the environment is incredibly important for beating Jack in this fight, as you can kick bodies at him to slow him down, and there's also a chainsaw located behind one of the walls that'll inflict some massive damage. But don't worry, once you do beat him and breathe a sigh of relief, you'll get the pleasure of fighting him all over again later in the boathouse. Oh boy!
Now you're going against me with my own blood!
Mr. X, Resident Evil 2 Remake.
Jesus Christ!
This stalking monstrosity may be an earlier Tyrant model than the Nemesis T-Type, but thanks to the Resident Evil 2 Remake and its vastly improved gameplay mechanics, he makes the Nemesis in the original RE3 feel like no more than a pest. When it comes to dealing with Mr. X, our only advice is this: run. Run and don't look back. When you do finally face him at the end of Leon's campaign, get ready for a lot of pain, as he now has a massive claw that can kill you in one hit. For this fight, be patient, use the debris for cover, and make sure every shot counts. Keep up the fight long enough, and eventually you'll get the means to blast him off his feet.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from MojoPlays, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.